Hi everyone, this is our back bridge program. In this program, we're not going to just focus on stretching out the upper back, which a lot of back bridge programs focus on. We're actually going to make sure the hips are mobile enough so you can actually get full extension through the lower back and the thoracic spine. The back bridge isn't just an upper back exercise. You need to make sure the whole front of the body moves properly. So the first exercise we got is the kneeling hip flexor stretch. So for this one, you're going to get in a lunge type position. You're going to get your back foot on the ground, pushing through the toe. You're going to tuck your back hip under, and then you're going to push your hips forward. You'll feel a stretch in the front of the hip. Going to hold this for about 90 seconds each side. Now, once we've done the relaxed hip flexor, we're going to take it a little bit harder, and we're going to go into what's called a relaxed lunge. This is going to stretch out the hip flexor and the quads. So for this one, you're going to take both hands, put them inside your leg, and you're slowly going to slide the back leg back a little bit, straightening it out, and then squeeze the glutes and push the hips forward till you feel a stretch down the front of the hip flexor. If you want to make the stretch a little bit more serious, you can push that back leg a little bit further out until the leg comes nearly straight. That's going to be quite an intense stretch for your hip flexor and your quads. Now we've done this, we want to make some active strength going into a bridge pattern. So we're now going to go into what's called a half bridge. So you're going to lay on your back. And there's two ways that we can do this. The first one is just to have your hands out to the side, palms up, and you're going to lift your hips up in the air as high as you can, trying to arch through your upper back at the same time. So you're trying to lift up through here, really create an arch. This is what we're going to be looking at in the bridge. We're preparing the lower back for it. A way to make this exercise a little bit harder is to drop back down, bring your feet a little bit closer and grab your ankles. So this here is going to force you to create more of an arch. We can already see more of an arch in the upper back. This one you're going to be holding for about 60 seconds. Once this stretch is complete, we then go into the quadricep couch stretch. So for the quadricep couch stretch, if we want to get the most out of the back bridge, there's a way where we can tweak this exercise. So I'll get you to put one foot on the couch, kneeling down facing that way. Okay, and the other leg up in the lunge. And from here, tuck the hips under and actually try and lean back into the stretch. You want to put your foot up a bit higher on the couch. That can also make it a little bit more comfortable. And then you can put a little bit more force into leaning back. So hands on the couch and open up the chest. You feel like stretching a lot? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is look at the upper body components of the bridge. So we need to prepare the neck, both in all movements, so in case there's any problems like we fall over, and also the wrist. So we're going to start with some basic neck movements. So we'll sit down. The first one is neck extension and flexion. So neck extension, you're going to look up as high as you can, keeping the torso quite still. Flexion is you're going to bring the chin towards the chest. We're not going to try and roll the whole back or look down and forward. The movement's very, very isolated. So extend up, just moving all through the neck, stretching out the front of the neck, and then tucking the chin down and bringing it to the sternal notch, just here in the chest. Once you've done about 15 reps of that, we're going to look at doing neck rotations. So that's simply looking to the left, as far as you can, rotate, come back and look to the right. It's also a nice little break after everything else that we've done in the program, which is quite tough. Now we're going to look at stretching out the wrist. So for the wrist stretch, we're going to do this in 4 different positions. We don't need to have 4 different positions for the back bridge, but we want to make sure the wrist is fully prepared for everything to bring to it. So for the first stretch, we're going to start by just having here, and we're just going to let the shoulders go forward, start stretching out the back of the wrist. You're going to do this 5 times with a 5-second hold in each stretch. Once you've done that, we're then going to turn the hands around. So we're going to rotate, keep the elbows locked out here, and then you're going to bring your shoulders back towards your hips. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back. Do that 5 times. The next stretch, we're going to go onto the back surface of the palm, of the hand, sorry. So we're going to turn the hands over, lock the elbows out, and then we're going to try and rotate the elbows forward. This is a very challenging position for most people to get into. Then you're going to go back. You're not going to get anywhere near as much motion here. Come back. There. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the last wrist stretch, we're going to turn the hand, we're going to turn the pinkies into the knees. So this one looks a bit strange, but we're going to get a different aspect of the forearm. And we're going to come back. You'll get a fair bit more motion here than the last one. 5-second hold. 3, 2, 1. And that's that stretch. And the last upper body stretch we're going to go into before we start going into some strengthening is the lat stretch. So for the lats, we need to make sure they're mobile so we get our arms overhead. So to do that without any equipment, you're going to lay down, you're going to reach across your body, so just use this hand here, like that. You're going to put the other hand on top, just on your wrist, to hold it into place, and then you're going to sit down and push your shoulders away from the hand. We're kind of creating a base here, locking it in, and you should feel the stretch come from about here. It should go all the way down here. To emphasize the stretch, simply lean more weight, and you can twist into it to get a little bit more stretch out of the lats. That stretch we're going to do for 90 seconds each side. Now we're going to do some strengthening work for the middle back muscles, which is important for being able to hold a bridge. So we've got some two light dumbbells there. So let's get you to lay down face first. You don't need heavy weights for these ones. You can also use cans, bowls of water. It doesn't really matter too much. The first exercise is a prone trap raise. So you're going to lay down, you're going to tuck your hips under, elbows stay locked out, and you're going to lift the dumbbells off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down again. Key point is to make sure that you don't really arch the lower back. You want to keep the hips under, squeeze the abs, and now lift up, hold there. You're going to get a lot more contraction through here. 3, 2, 1, and down. 5 reps of that one. From here we go into seated dumbbell external rotation. So we're just going to simply turn over and sit on our butt, and we're going to externally rotate the shoulder. Now this one isn't really one that we can lift a lot of weight in. So from here and here, and we're just going to roll down, keeping the shoulder pulled back in the socket and rotate up. Keep the elbow balance on top of the knee. Rotate as far down as you can. Keep going, go, 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 go. Good. And roll back up. If you focus more on increasing the range of motion in this exercise, so as we can see, we've got Kristen going all the way down, keeping the shoulder tight. You don't need to use anywhere near as heavy weights as what you would normally use for rotator cuff work. Try and train the cuff throughout the full range of motion. Now we've done all the strengthening exercises, now we get into the bridge. So the best way to build up a back bridge is, once you've addressed the fundamentals, is to do a back bridge. So we're going to get in the back bridge position, and we're going to do a push up from there and try and hold it for as high as we can for 5 seconds. So Kristen's going to get her wrist back, she's going to put her hands there, she's going to push up, and she's going to push away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. It's a really scary position at first. This is why we train the neck, this is why we train everything else. What we can do, I'll get you back down there if that's okay, is you can also use your head for a little bit of support as you're getting started. So put your hands there, just behind, and you're just going to push up just a little bit and look up that way. So come up, push up just a little bit, using the head just to help get support through there, and then you can push up through the shoulders and hold. If you've got someone else at home with you, having someone support you from the lower back and the shoulders makes it a lot more comfortable and a lot less scary. So drop down now, tuck the chin, and down we go. And guys, if you do that, 5 sets of 5, by the end of it, your bridge will be significantly improved. In a very short period of time, you have a bridge. Stay tuned for our next program where we're going to actually teach you how to do a bridge fall over.